What is up, guys, and welcome back to Marshall Sports. Today is December 6th, 2019, and today I have a very special guest, and I know I say that a lot, but it is actually an extremely special guest today, visiting me all the way from Dallas, Texas, Mr. Nikolai Caesar, also known as Nico Caesar. Nico, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right, Colin. It's good to be up in Utah visiting you.
Yes, it is. And as I mentioned, Nico is from good old D-Town down in Texas. So we had to talk about the Dallas Cowboys, which is kind of sad for him, but also the Dallas Mavericks, which is very happy for him. So, starting with the Cowboys, I think it's pretty funny every season how the Cowboys start out with some kind of big win. And, we always hear from the media, oh, how about them Cowboys? They're going to take us to the Super Bowl. We're going to win the Super Bowl with the Cowboys. And then sure enough, every single year, we watch them fall down, make a fool of themselves. And I'm sorry if I'm offending you right now. But why does this happen every single year?
Well, so to start out with, our first three games were against teams with a sub 500 record.
Good point.
They were good wins, and our team played well, but we didn't really get a competition up until we played, I think it was the Saints. Saints were the start of a three-loss streak, and that kind of
Yes.
pretty much gave a reality check to the Cowboys nation and everyone letting us know that this isn't really the year that we could do something. I mean, each year we go through this kind of up and down, but it ultimately boils down to Jason. So,
Really?
I believe our coaching is something that has always haunted us in the past few years, and I believe that Jason Garrett has not done a thing to prove that he should be in this job for any longer.
It's amazing. They showed a statistic, something about Jason Garrett has been the coach for so long. He's been like the longest tenured coach that hasn't won a Super Bowl in the entire NFL. And that's totally true. I mean, they haven't even been to a conference championship game, under his leadership. Why has he lasted so long? Because, I mean, he should have been gone a long time ago.
Well, for a while, Jerry Jones was sold on him, and he has a great leadership skills. He's been Pro Bowl coach for a couple years. But the matter of fact is that he's not winning playoff games. He's not taking
Never.
us to where we want to go. He's had 2 playoff wins, and like you said, it's been probably like 5 or 6 years. So it might be time for a switch. We did make a step forward when we hired Scott Linehan, but ultimately it needs to be the head coach that, I guess, it has to be the head coach because our talent level, as far as our players go, is great. On paper, it seems like we should be a team that is a force to be reckoned with in the NFC, but we're not.
It's crazy, too, because, I mean, that offense, like, I'm guilty, too. When I saw them at the beginning of the season, I was like, wow, the Cowboys are the real deal. Who was the offensive coordinator that they got this year?
Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore.
Previous quarterback for the Cowboys.
Exactly, and I remember he was at Boise State, too. A lot of touchdowns. Just seems like an offensive guru. He kind of bursted onto the scene out of nowhere. I definitely think he's going to have a head coaching position sooner than later. But like I said, they just started super hot. Out of nowhere, they just are so bad. And you mentioned something about the teams they're winning against are sub 500. I think I saw a statistic where it said they haven't beat a team that's been above 500 all year long.
You're absolutely right. Stats don't lie.
No,
It's very upsetting. I believe that some of the teams that we should have beaten, some of those boil down to end-of-game decisions. And some of them may have been on Kellen Moore, but overall I thought Kellen has been a good offensive coordinator. Last year we really struggled in the red zone, and we couldn't score touchdowns. But this year it's flipped around, and we are able to score. But the thing is that we are not closing out in the fourth quarter. Even when we were playing the Vikings, we had a chance. We've had multiple chances to win these games and get a signature win of the year, but we have fallen short, and it's very upsetting very frustrating for all the Cowboys fans out there.
No, for sure. I mean, I completely feel like I'm a Texans fan, so we know what it's like to be miserable too. Now, you guys have been miserable for a good 20 years, but at least you guys have a super. Well, not in your lifetime, but at least you guys have a couple Super Bowls. But speaking of the fans in Dallas, as a Dallas native, what is the narrative right now? Are they all on board with booting out Jason Garrett, or what is everyone talking about right now in Dallas?
Now, I don't think it's. I think now that everyone it has kind of gotten to the point where we need to point fingers at someone, and action needs to be taken, and to figure out what's going wrong with our team. And I think the narrative now is that it's come down to Jason Garrett, whether it's been portrayed by the media or by the fans or by Jerry Jones. Um, all fingers are pointing to Jason Garrett, and I believe it's about his time to go. And I'm not just saying it from a biased perspective. I've seen multiple reports from News, ESPN, Bleacher Report. All of them have pointed the fingers to Jason Garrett, and hopefully he is. We'll have to see how long he lasts, but I believe Jerry Jones will probably give him till the end of the year, and then they'll kind of call it quits. I do believe Jason Garrett is another head coach for another team. I believe he'll be coaching another team shortly. I don't think he'll go very far, or I don't think he'll go long without a job. So.
And what's funny is we're having this conversation about how miserable the Cowboys season has been, yet they are leading the NFC East, a division that's historically usually has at least one good team in it. But the Eagles are struggling. Of course, the Redskins are horrible. And the Cowboys are probably not only going to make the playoffs, but they're going to have a home game in the divisional round. I mean, that's just insane how bad the NFC East is right now.
It's crazy. I have no words. It almost reminds me of, I think it was about 4 years ago when the Saints and Bucks, that division was this division where teams had losing records, yet they were still making it to the playoffs. It's just kind of the way the league's laid out. It's great at being a Cowboys fan, but I can definitely see other teams who are in better divisions and who are definitely better teams, yet their situation is that they're fighting for a wild card as opposed to a divisional victory, I guess, or divisional first place.
So with how bad the Cowboys have been this year, does Dak, because the beginning of the season we were saying Dak's going to get paid this offseason. He might even get paid during the season in an extension. Is he going to get paid in the offseason regardless of what has happened this year? Because the offense has been pretty high-powered. I expect him to get paid. What are your thoughts on him getting the big contract this offseason?
Dak is going to get paid. It's just a matter of when. I do believe we're in the process of securing our best players on the team, and I think Dak's leadership leadership is his best quality. Yes, he has a great talent, and yes, he is able to extend plays in the pocket, but where he truly makes an impact is the way he leads the offense, the way he is given reign to call audibles, and he kind of just has a grasp on O-line. All the players respect him, and I do believe he is the future of the Cowboys. I believe every year he's gotten better. There are some throws that I'm sure he wishes he could have made, and some that have probably would have resulted in victories, but I think that just comes with growing as a player and becoming the better leader and ultimately taking us to the Super Bowl. I think it will be an opportunity for him later down the road, but I do believe the Cowboys are going to pay him, and he will stay with the Cowboys for at least 3 or 4 years, guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to agree with you on everything you just said. I will say when he first came into the league, I know he was like a later round draft pick. I did not expect him to turn into the player that he has become. I will say, I'll be honest with you guys, I am a Cowboys hater. Growing up in Houston, I've always hated the Cowboys, especially the Houstonians who are Cowboys fans. It's just really off-putting to me. So I've always disliked the Cowboys. I've always had a negative bias against the Cowboys. But I will be honest, I believe Dak deserves to be paid. And with that being said, I hope, I kind of hope that things turn around. But at the bottom of my heart, I still hate the Cowboys. I'm a Cowboys hater. I'm sorry about
Hey
that.
man, the rivalry between Dallas and Houston will always live on.
We got you guys last year.
I will. Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
but I
close.
always think Houston will be a sweaty armpit that I don't think I'll ever. I don't think I'll ever live.
Dude, we have been waiting for a quarterback for so long now. We finally got him in Deshaun Watson. I believe he's going to take us to the promised land. It's only a matter of time, Mr. Nico.
You guys did beat the Patriots this year, or did you?
No, okay, so you're right. We beat the Patriots last week, but if you look at the stat line, they beat us in basically every part of the game except for those crucial plays where they either turned it over or gave up a big play. So I'm not trying to be too excited about that game. It is a big game. It is a big win. Do not get me wrong. We've only beaten the Patriots twice now. We're 10-2 against them all time since we became a team. But I'm not going to overreact to that game. What we do in the playoffs is going to matter the most. And historically, the Texans in the playoffs, we can beat the Bengals. We can beat the Bengals in the playoffs. But when it comes to the Patriots, we do not beat the Patriots in the playoffs. And I guess we kind of have a similar problem to the Cowboys. Just two Texas teams that cannot get it done in the playoffs. But hopefully, things will turn around for both of our programs. And, hopefully we can finally bring an NFL title back to Texas. You think that's possible?
I think it's possible.
Two good teams.
I think we are two good teams. I just believe that the pieces need to be put together, and I believe there has to be I guess we have to be going in hot into the playoffs. But I believe each team needs proven winners, people that have been there, people that have been to the Super Bowl, people that are consistently going to the NFC Championship. Because, like you said, we both have young quarterbacks, both that don't have experience in that, in those later rounds of the playoffs. And I just believe that if we get other leaders on our team and coaches that can instill confidence in these players, then hopefully in the next few years we will see one of our teams make it into the NFC Championship or AFC Championship, and then ultimately the Super Bowl.
Well, as Nico just said, the Dallas Cowboys are basically trash, and the Houston Texans are the real deal. So we should be seeing the Texans bring an NFL title to the state of Texas finally, something that the Cowboys haven't been able to do for a very long time, at least not in our lifetime. So you heard it straight from the Dallas native. Anyways, we are out of time. If you like what you hear, please like and subscribe. You can find us over at Instagram at @MarshallSports_. Until then, see you guys later. Check out some other videos, and we will see you guys next time.
Thank you.
See you later. Thank you.
Bye.